welcome back to another video. This really popped when I saw it. That to me is a monster increase. Again, this book got hot. This book is ready to go higher. So let's jump right into it. We are back today with another statue review from Diamond Select Toys. Without further ado, let's get into the review. What is going on, YouTube? All the mighty mafia that is out here on YouTube tonight, and of course, listening on Apple Podcasts. This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles. I want to thank you guys for joining me for another live stream, another Signature Series podcast. Tonight, we have a very special show for you tonight. We're going to be talking about 2023 and your collecting goals, not just mine. People out there in the community, what are you looking to buy in 2023? For me, if you guys haven't watched my recent video, I did publish that, I think, on Wednesday of this week. My 2023 goals and what I am going to be looking to buy. So we're going to get into a little bit of that, but also I am also going to be sharing with you guys the link to this video tonight for anybody out there in the community who actually wants to join me on the live show tonight, because I've done this in the past where I've had a couple people jump on with me. I think we've had almost up to, I think, 6 or 5 people jump on at one point, and we talk about anything comic book, and comic related items. So I'm doing that tonight. I'm going to throw the link in the StreamYard in the chat in a little bit. And anybody who wants to come on, all I ask is that you are, respectful and have a good time with me here tonight. But again, we're talking about 2023. And if you haven't watched my video this week, I talk about, what my plans are for the upcoming year. And for me, I don't want to spoil the video, but I want to raise some cash to buy some books that I think for the long term will have some good investment value for books that I don't have. So what I mentioned in that video was Golden Age books pertaining to Superman and Batman. Some of the bigger keys I mentioned, and I think a lot of you guys know out there, I'm searching for a Batman 1 this year, even though it's really going to be hard for me to try to attain that book. Superman 1, I think, is going to be really out of my reach, but there are some key books from the Golden Age relating to Batman, relating to Superman that I really want to go out and get. So Superman number 6, number 9, number 11, classic yellow cover comics. Some of those, there's a couple of Batman keys as well that I forget the numbers of, that I do want to add to the collection. I have most of the Silver Age books that I want in my collection, but I always say that I'm Amazing Spider-Man fan, so I'll always be buying Silver Age Amazing Spider-Man. That's where my bread and butter is, so I'll always flock to that. Again, my LCS today, they posted some amazing Silver Age Amazing Spider-Man books. It took everything in my power not to go ahead and say, hey, hold me that book, but I refrained because I am on a hunt for a couple of these big books. So I want to say hello to a couple of guys that are here in the channel. One is Stephen G. How you doing, bud? Captain America 36 is my goal, and that is the goal that I'm talking about. Some nice Golden Age keys or great books that are hard to come by, right? So rarity, I said it on the video, and I'm going to say it again tonight. Rarity is the name of the game, I think, with the Golden Age. And I wouldn't go out and just buy willy-nilly Golden Age books. I want to go out and get like something that is important. Classic covers to me. If you can't go out and get a first appearance, because that's, I think that's where the big money is in Golden Age books, and they are super scarce. But I think classic covers and a low grade, as long as they present well, I think are good investments when we're talking about Golden Age comics. Like I said, for me, it's pertaining to major characters like Superman and Batman. That's what I like. So there may be other Golden Age characters that you like that may fit into this category. For me, it's those two. My boy DZE2, what is going on, man? Thank you for joining me here on the chat tonight. I really appreciate it. Ben Compton, how you doing, buddy? Haven't seen you in a while. Glad to have you back on board. Danny says AF15 by the end of the year is my goal, and that is an amazing goal to have. I mean, I think that's the end game for, I think, a lot of people out there to acquire that book. That's the Silver Age monster that I think most of us out there are looking to own. So I think that's a great goal by the end of the year. I hope you get it, bud. Gary Hahn just picked up my Grail. Captain America 1. I'm buying an All-Star 8 tomorrow. Gary, you are my new hero, because I saw a Captain America 1 that I was interested in when I went to New York Comic Con this year, and it was a restored copy, and I still couldn't get it, man. It was just way out of my price range, but congrats to you. That is an awesome pickup. I still also remember that I actually passed on an All-Star 8, a 0.5 All-Star 8 that I saw at a local show maybe about 6 months ago. It was 30 something thousand. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm never going to find another first appearance of Wonder Woman in a point five that actually looked as good as this book did. And it was complete. It was no resto. It was a blue label. And I I punch myself all the time for not going ahead and picking up that book. Jason over at Omega Collects, guys. If you guys are not following him, he just started a YouTube channel a few months back. He actually put out some content, I think, earlier in the week. Make sure you're checking him out. Like I said, I'm going to be posting the StreamYard link for anybody that wants to jump on with me. But I wanted to touch base on a few things about the collecting goals that I mentioned, at least for me, for the start of the year. So I said I wanted to, raise some cash by selling a few books, selling a few duplicates that I had in the collection, focus more on some rare golden age comics if I can. I know it's going to be a hard task, especially when we're talking about some of the keys. And I said I still want to add some Silver Age stuff because I do think for most of the people out there, that's where our bread and butter is. Okay. I also said I'd be broadening my collection with other comic related items. Like you guys know, I collect comics. I collect cards, a baseball, Garbage Pail Kids cards. I collect, I have a statue here and there, and I collect some toys. So I'm going to be adding some more statues into my collection. If you guys can see behind me here, I know I have a little bit of a change of a setup. I have some new black cases that are in this office that I added some lighting into that really look spectacular, that I plan to house some amazing statues to go along with some of the books that I have and that I'm going to purchase, sooner rather than later. Okay. So my last thing that I mentioned for my goals were that I wanted to be picky this year. And I'm going to say that to everybody out there in the chat, anybody that's watching the video, is be picky, right? Where we were in 2020 and then 2021, where the market just absolutely went nuts, is as bad as it's been for 2022. We just got a steady decline over the past year. So 2023, I expect a little bit of a leveling off for a bit. And then we'll see. We could get a nice bounce. I'm actually expecting a little bit of bounce and then maybe back, put down a little bit to maybe a double bottom. So if anybody doesn't know what a double bottom is in stocks, it's when we get a bottom, a relief bounce, and then, another bottom, and then we kind of take off from there. So my expectation is to get a bottom, have a little bit of a bounce, and then probably come right back down and then retest those lows. And then we'll see what happens thereafter. So those are my collecting goals. And the biggest thing I will say to you guys is, like I said, be picky. Stick to the grades you want, stick to the books you want, and go from there. Don't ever feel like you have to go out and rush to buy a book. I've been all over Heritage. I've been all over Comic Link, Comic Connect, looking for books that I know that I want. And I haven't pulled the trigger because I think they're a little expensive, or maybe the grade's too high for what I can afford or what I want to keep in a collection. So it's just about being patient this year. So I will say hi to Joey all day. What's going on, bud? Same here. AF15 this year. I'm about third away there with savings and sales. That's awesome, bud. Keep going. Hopefully by the end of the year, you will have a nice AF15 in your hands. I will say this, AF15, I saw somebody listed a 0.5. The thing actually looked really nice. They wanted like 16,000 for it, but I saw somebody post a 1.0 blue label. And I don't know if it was Elite Comics 11 or somebody. It was 17,000. And I thought that was a really good deal for a 1.0. I don't remember where it was, but I thought it presented well. There was nothing really missing from like the cover. There was not much Marvel shipping. If there was, I don't remember where I saw it, but I thought, wow, that's a really good deal for that book. Stephen G's second book is Sensation Comics 13. That is actually a nice one as well. I thought about picking up the first Wonder Woman in Sensation Comics. I don't remember the issue, if it's one or not. But regardless, I recognize the cover when I see it. Metropolis Comics has a nice one for sale that's going up in one of their auctions. And Gary says, my Cap one is restored, but the All-Star is a 2.0 blue. Hey, I think when we talk about Golden Age books, the restored is probably the only time I really want one in the collection. I will take a Captain America 1 restored all day long because it's just so rare. I think I was talking with Errol yesterday, and he told me, we were talking about Superman 1, and he said that there are only 175 people out there who own a Superman 1, and that just boggled my mind. I didn't think that the number was that low. So I was really, really happy with that. I mean, not that I'm going to get a Superman 1 because I think that's a little far-fetched to me, but I think that's the goal for a lot of us out there, is to get the bigger keys from the Golden Age. Now, like I said, I'm partial to classic covers because I think we, as collectors, when you get into that certain range of like mega bucks for keys, right? it's almost impossible for almost all of us out there. But so we get to the bigger keys. I think it's either restored, even it's a big hike, or we go to classic covers or first appearances of other smaller characters within the bigger, character range. But I'm gonna go ahead and throw up the link to StreamYard on the chat if anybody wants to jump on it. And we're gonna stay on for as long as we can, talking about 2023 goals. We're gonna talk about anything you guys want to talk about in the comic, relating to comics. For me, I've been all over the IG sales looking for books, and there's like 4 sales going on right now. So I know a lot of people out there are doing live sales right now. So I was watching one before I came on, but just like things are slowing down a bit, I think, which is good for the people out there who want to look into buying books. I still think you're going to get deals going forward. I still think Marvel blue chip keys are the way to go for most collectors. Um, they're the safest bet. I think DC, while right now DC books are hot, um, it's still an unknown because we still don't know what's going forward with the DC movies, right? James Gunn has taken over. A lot of people are annoyed at some of the stuff he's doing. I'm really not. I mean, I would have liked to see Henry Cavill stay on as Superman, but with the other castings, I think the girl Gal Gadot who played Wonder Woman was actually great. But anyone after that, I didn't think they did an awesome job. I think Ben Affleck looked the part as Batman. I love the suit. To me, that's still been the best suit there has been out there in the movies. But I still think him scrapping everything and starting over is not such a bad idea, especially where they came from. I didn't really like the Snyder movies. I thought the first Superman was okay. Um, the Batman versus Superman I thought was terrible. The Justice League was even worse. So to each his own. I did think Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy was probably the best adaptation of Batman that we've ever had. I thought they were absolutely fantastic, all 3 films. So I'm excited to see where they're going to go. I just think it's going to take a long time. So people are starting to get on the DC bandwagon now. If you guys haven't checked out my Hot 10 breakdowns every week, there's a lot of DC books that are showing up on these lists. So buy what you can afford, buy what you like. If you're a Batman fan, I think, and you don't want to go Golden Ages, Silver Age Batman keys are always a good buy, in my opinion. And they're still really cheap. You can get like mid-grade for $400 for a lot of the villains, like Two-Face, Scarecrow. Mr. Freeze is a Golden Age book. I actually just learned that. Looking at the book, I thought it was a Silver Age one, but it's just the end of the Golden Age. That one's a pricey one, and that's one I'm looking to pick up as well this year, if I could find one for the right price, because it has gotten a little expensive. So but like I said, 2023 goals for me, it's about Golden Age and finding deals. If I can still find Amazing Spider-Man books on deals, it's what I'll always add to collection, because that's my guy. Spider-Man's my guy. Same with like big books. You guys I picked up a Fantastic Four #5, a second copy signed by Stan Lee. In my lifetime, I've owned 3 copies. I got rid of one to buy another, and then we'll see what happens from there. So. But like I said, name of the game is deals, and name of the game right now is buying stuff that you want to add to your collection. So a lot of people have said AF-15, and that's, I think, the goal for many people. That's what I said before, and I think that's a great goal to have. I do know a couple of people who have them for sale. So if you ever get into the point where you're close and you want to buy, hit me up, and I can kind of direct you guys to at least 1 or 2 people that I know have low grade copies for sales. And I think low grade is fine as long as the books are presentable. I say stay away from restored unless they're Golden Age books, just as my opinion. Stay away from incomplete books for the most part, because it's just harder to resell those books. That's what I've noticed. And books have come down so much. Like, we could talk about an Amazing Spider-Man #1. That book was out of control for a while. I'm talking about like a 2.0 for, I think, 10 or 11 grand. And now I think you can get a 2.0 for around 8 grand right now. And I still think that's a little high. So keep that in mind. Books are still coming down. I think a lot of the stuff has bottomed, but if you're patient, you're still going to get a good deal on stuff. You guys on the channel know I don't do too much in modern books, but I do have a couple of modern books that I did order this week. So when I get them, I will share them with you. But they're just, for me, they're books that when you see the covers, you'll know exactly why I bought them, but I don't want to spoil it here on the channel. I do want to mention to you guys, if you guys don't know, I am doing a 4,000 sub giveaway. I put this video in every one of my videos that I put forth, and this is the giveaway item. Okay. We're currently at 3,600 subscribers, 3,600 to change. When we get to 4,000, I'm giving this sucker away. It's a Thanos diorama by Kotobuki. I always have problem pronouncing that, but it is an awesome statue. You can see as the box. When I did those Diamond Select Toys reviews, I always crapped on them because the box was not good. This box is freaking awesome, as you guys can see. I'll go ahead and show you the back. I think it might be the same thing, but look at the artwork on this thing, right? The artwork on this thing is absolutely beautiful. Inside, it's a really nice piece. I'm not sure exactly what it goes for retail. I think I want to say just under $100. But like I said, if you're a subscriber of the channel, you are eligible to win this thing going forward once we hit 4,000. And like I said, we're just under 400 away. The sooner we get there, the sooner I'm giving that bad boy away. And if you haven't watched some of my videos, I already have the 5,000 sub giveaway picked out. Okay. This thing, I don't want to, I guess I'll tell this because I already showed it. It is an Iron Man #1. I'm not joking with you. When we get to 5,000 subs, it's low grade. Who cares? It's a low grade item. But when we get to 5,000 subs, I'm giving an Iron Man 1 away. Who does that? Who gives an Iron Man 1 away? Nobody. Just me. Granted, it's low grade, but you know what? If you don't have an Iron Man 1 in your collection, this thing, it's a beater, but still an Iron Man 1. It's a key. It's a mega key, an undervalued book that I always talk about. So Steven says, I feel like though Golden Age comics haven't gone down. No, you know what? A lot of Golden Age, they have skyrocketed because all the other books have come down. I think people that have been collecting comics for a while now, they're flocking to rarer books. That's the issue. So if you're been collecting a while and you feel like the Silver Age is coming down, the Bronze has really come down, and you're not a modern collector, or maybe even if you are, the Golden Age books really have started to take off because of that, because of the rare factor. Now, for me, you guys know this, I'd always rather put my book in a rare copy of like a Golden Age Superman or Batman book outside of like a rare modern age book, right? You guys know I hate that Djevic variant, that Ultimate Fallout 4. People are spending almost $40,000 on 9.8 copies of that book. For me, I could take $40,000 and I could probably buy two low grade I could probably buy two low grade Superman #2s for that. There is a Superman #2 on Heritage that I'm tracking right now that is actually signed by Joe Shuster and Siegel. It's not verified, but hey, you could tell it's their signatures. That to me is amazing. Like you're never going to see that in another comic, let alone a Superman #2. So Dr. Sean, totally agree. The Golden Age books seem to be holding value or growing up. It's tough to get a deal on key Golden Age books. Amen to that. I was actually just looking at a Instagram live sale, and they had a Superman #11, which is actually a beautiful cover. And it was a mid grade. It was like a 5.0 or 6.0, and it was like 4.5. It's $4,500. I'm like, oh man, that's a lot of money for a classic cover. If that was like a 3.0 on around 2,000, 225, I probably would have jumped on it. But it is really hard to get deals on, right? Especially if you're on the auction sites, because the auction sites are tough. I was bidding on a book on Heritage the other day, and I was actually leading the auction. It ended, and then it went over to live bidding, and I didn't know how to go on a live bid because I don't really live bid on Heritage. So I ended up losing because I didn't live bid. I was at my max anyway if I want what I wanted to pay for it. But regardless, I know Comic Link. I was talking with Errol the other day, and it doesn't have a live option. So whenever the auction ends online, that's when it ends, and that's that. So I will probably jumping on a lot of Comic Link auctions from here on out, trying to find some books. eBay's is another story because I was on eBay looking for books, and people are a little overpriced, I should say, on eBay because I do it too because I'm trying to get back to 13% that I have to pay to them. So I always, put my books at 13% higher, but I always leave a note in the comments, say, hey, go to my website if you're interested, because you don't pay tax on my website, and you don't have to pay the fees on eBay. So I have to actually update some of the prices on my website because they are a little high because the books have come down. So bear with me. If you see a book on there and say, hey, this was the last sale, you have it at this, I can always adjust it. So go to mightycollects.com if you guys are interested in anything. Kay Lee, hey, how you doing? Thanks for joining the chat. What do you think about detached cover Golden and Silver Age books? Passerby, I'm fine with it. One of the books I was looking at on eBay was a Superman #6 detached front and back cover, but because they're ultra rare, and do your research, go see if go on the census on CGC. You could go on to GPA and see how many books. When's the last time they were bought, sold at certain grades? I'm always a buyer. For me, I'm okay with a detached cover, 100%, as long as the book presents well. I have a Tales of Suspense 39. I'm not going to break it out because it's in a case over here that has a detached cover. By looking at it in the CGC case, you cannot even notice that the cover is detached. It actually presents absolutely beautiful. I think for the most part, they do a good job of actually placing the cover well, so it doesn't look like it is. But the notes are there. It does say cover detached, but it doesn't bother me. Again, it does hurt the value a little bit, but hey, if it's a book that you want and that's what you can afford, I'm fine with it. I own multiple books that have detached front covers, especially when they're big books. They're worth it. And if you can get them for cheap, even if it's not a huge key in a Silver Age or Golden Age, and they're detached, especially Golden Age, if you can get a detached cover on a key issue and you're okay with it and presents well, I'm all for it. I do feel at Heritage you pay a lot more for books versus other auction sites. Yeah, because it's the biggest auction site there is. I totally get it. There is a buyer's premium as well. That's another thing that Comic Link does not have. I'm not sure if Comic Connect or not has a buyer's premium. I don't think there's another auction one that Dave from Comic Book Investments, he runs it. That I don't think they have a buyer's premium either. So Heritage is tough, but they do get a lot of stuff in. Like every time that I'm scrolling the app, they always seem to be adding new stuff for March for the next auction. So definitely it's they do have the best stuff. I will say that. Comic Link is 3%. So there you go. Right. eBay's 13% for God's sake. I don't mind paying 3% ever. My thing with Comic Link, and at least I can't say this for the auction because I've never used I've never bought anything through auction. But if you just go out and go through their exchange, a lot of the guys are overpriced for GPA. Like if you use GPA as a solid pricing structure, a lot of the books are over that. Their ask is over that. Now you could try submitting offers and stuff, but every time I've submitted an offer, I've always gotten denied. I've never gotten an offer accepted. So I'm going to try the auctions and see how I go. So I think it's a good opportunity right now, and that's what we talk about 2023, and that should be the name of the game is opportunity. So I want to repeat that in the comments. If anybody wants to jump on here and join me live, they're more than welcome to come on. Jason, buddy, what happened? I thought you were coming on with me. You hit up and then you kind of disappeared. But if you're interested, come on by. The link is right there. But like I said, 2023, the name of the game is being patient, finding out there what you want to buy, and then kind of jumping on it. I think now is a great time to buy comic books. 100%. We got it, especially on the Silver Age stuff. No one knows where the MCU is going. We have an idea with Secret Wars and stuff, but a lot of people were unhappy with Phase 4, right? Including myself. So are they going to make it up to us when we get to Ant-Man? That's what I'm really want to see. If Ant-Man, and that's coming out next month, if Ant-Man is a good movie, and I expect it to be, we're going to get the introduction of Kang. If that sets it up in the proper tone, and I'm hearing that that it's really awesome. They tried to make this into a really big movie. That I'm starting to see some books starting to climb again. Avengers #8 was a book that I said, after we got the announcement that Kang was coming, blah, 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 that book started to tank. And now you can get it for a decent amount. I said to you guys on one of my lists that when that book got to a certain point, that I'd be pouncing on it. And I have to check the latest GPA numbers on that book. For anything, if I think 3.5 or higher, you're right. So if it's gotten to a point where I think it's buyable, I think he's going to blow it out of the water. So we may see that book go up sooner rather than later, if that's the case. Athletic style, my man. I love that shirt. NWO for life, bro. Hi, your live videos are my must watch every time you have Errol on. Motivates me to save money for a big reel. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much, but I really appreciate that. We will have Errol on again soon. He actually is going to be on somebody else's channel soon. Sorry, but my memory escapes me of the name of the channel. If you're on here watching, make sure you put it out there, bud. I know he's back in the game comics on Instagram, but they do an awesome podcast, him and his buddy, and he's going to be on their channel. So make sure you're listening on books that they're looking for the upcoming year. Bart, what's going on, buddy? Thank you for the kind words. Love your videos. I appreciate it. Comic Connect is 15% premium. Yeah, I knew that they had I thought they had a premium. I know Heritage is ridiculous, it's 20%, but Comic Connect doesn't. So I know you have to pay a fee, but it's not a premium on top of what you're bidding. So that's great. He is a man of his word. I will say that. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in Jason because he is here and we're going to talk some comics as well. Here he is. There he is. What is up, my man? So we can't hear you. So maybe it's a mic check. So yeah, you're silent. But while you get that situated, we will continue the combo. I'll let you know when we can hear you. But as of right now, you're muted. Maybe you might be muted. But yeah, so we're talking about 2023. For me, like I said, I think now is a great time to pounce, especially if you're long term. If you're long term, I think that, and when I say long term, I'm not talking about 3 years. I'm talking at 5 to 10 years at the minimum, because I think you're going to get a lot of fluctuation right now, especially because as we're heading into a recession, people are not going to spend the amount of money they were in the past. So keep that in mind. There he is. See, I said it. He said, back in the comments, we're connecting with Errol tomorrow. Drop the episode the following week. Absolute game of nerds. There you go. Thank you for putting it out there, bud. I appreciate it. Again, they're phenomenal. I think they've done 2 or 3 podcasts already, and I really enjoyed both of them. So make sure you guys are checking out Absolute Game of Nerds. And eventually I will have them on the podcast as well, maybe vice versa. Thoughts on early FF books this year? I've always loved early FF. For me, I think when I say early, my favorite FF book is number 12, right? Hulk meets Fantastic Four for the first time, even though I don't think Thing and Hulk actually battle, but they kind of meet and go for there. After the 12, I enjoy 48 and 49, of course. Those are the other big FF books. I am not a huge FF1 proponent. I think that book was so undervalued for a really long period of time. And then it really caught up very, very quickly. As soon as they got that announcement that a Fantastic Four was coming and that Disney had bought Fox, that was the whole time to kind of, I think, hold on to that book and then kind of sell it once you got the announcement. I think you'll get another chance to sell that book when they announce who the cast will be. But to me, I've always haven't been a fan of the cover. That's to me why it wasn't. All other Fantastic Four of Silver Age, you can't go wrong. It's one of the best. I think if you're going to read 1 through 100 are probably one of the best storylines. And I think Jack and Stan did an amazing job in the early FF Silver Age 1 to 100. It's really on par with Amazing Spider-Man, in my opinion. I thought they were phenomenal. I think Galactus, Silver Surfer are the books I'd be buying right now. I think I was pushing FF 18 for a while, the first Super Scroll, but I think that's too late now. I think there's a crossover with Doom and Submariners, a book. I don't remember the issue, where they're their first team up of villains. That's a great book to have. And it won't break the bank either. But the first time the FF is in their costumes is another great one. So yes, I do love early FF. Definitely reach out to you after we finish with Errol to get sorted for having you on. Absolutely, guys. Thank you so much. Got my number 1 way too highly. Oh, well. What do you mean you're number 1? What are we talking about? FF1? If we're talking about FF1, it's still a great book. I mean, it's still a great investment too. I'm not saying it's not. I just think that if for me personally, if I'd rather have like an AF-15, that's the book I want. If I in the Silver Age, even though there's a lot more copies, I think if you're looking for scarcity, I always said this, it's Hulk number 1. That's the most scarce Silver Age Marvel key. And forever, it was so cheap. So cheap. Now, of course, it's caught up, but it's still, I mean, somebody posted a 1.5 for 14,000 today, which, for a scarce Marvel book, that's not bad. A 1.5 AF-15 will probably be 20 to 25,000. I'll give you a range. So that's still really good. And to me, I know FF is really popular. Hulk, to me, I love the Hulk, but there are people out there who don't love the Hulk. So if you guys don't know, you can I upload these podcasts onto Apple Podcasts. If you guys can't jump on YouTube or you don't want to feel like watching the rerun, you can always find me at Mighty Comics at Collectibles on Apple Podcasts. It's always a fun listen. I will say that. So like I said, anybody questions regarding this year, what you thinking about collecting, what you want to collect, any questions relating to comics, I'm here. Like when I go do these live streams, it's all about questions. How can I help you guys? And hopefully we'll get some people to jump on. I'm still available for anybody who also wants to jump on and just talk. what they have planned for the upcoming year. So I will give you an announcement. I don't even know if I'm supposed to do this, but I will. I'm going to be going on Instagram with Elite Comics 11, and we're going to be doing a little bit of a like a talk. We're going to have some other collectors on and just talk about comics for an hour before one of their sales. I'll let you guys know exactly when we plan on doing that, but that should be fun as well because that's a whole new audience for me. I know I'm friendly with so many people on Instagram, but there's going to be a lot of people who follow Elite that maybe don't follow my channel, so they don't really know the stuff I collect and vice versa. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. But like I said, any questions you guys might have, I am here. We're talking comics, we're talking statues, we're talking toys, we're talking anything, you know, retro related, for the most part, comic books. So I told you guys that I'm looking for golden age stuff right now. That's my main cog in my wheel. I still think Silver Age is a great buy, especially with prices coming down. I think if I were to put my money in anything Silver Age, I still think Silver Age and making Spider-Man is the best bet because I think, we talk about people who collect comics and even people who don't collect comics. There's a generation of kids out there who may not love Peter Parker, but they love a Spider-Man. That may be Miles Morales, that could be Peter Parker, it could be whoever. But that will always resonate with from people who are my age to people who are in their 70s or kids who are just coming up into the comic industry. To me, I think Spider-Man is always a great buy. Outside of that, I think Silver Age is still like the major keys are where the money should go. Bronze Age, you guys know there's a top four for me. I always say it. It's Hulk 181, Giants has X-Men 1, ASM 129, and Marvel Spotlight number 5. If you want to call it a B list, we'll throw Hulk 180 in there and a Werewolf by Night 32. Outside of that, I'm probably staying away from most Bronze Age keys for Marvel anyway. I mean, DC has a few. Green Lantern 76 is a book that I love. But again, the Silver Age DC books are still so undervalued. We talk about Showcase number 22. I think at a low grade, it's still under $5,000 for a major first appearance of a major DC character. Oh no, I didn't release this yet. I'm doing the, you guys know I do the once a week, every week at the beginning of the week, I put out a character video where I give you like a top 10 or a top 5. This upcoming week, this Monday is The Flash. So Showcase number 4, I'll give you a spoiler, is on that list. And that book in low grade is really, really expensive, but it's worth it because it is super scarce. So that's one, if you're a DC fan, and you can kind of pony up the change for that one. I do think they're eventually going to get the character right, and that book's going to take off. So Bert says he picked up some early Action Comics 19 to 22 and 4 range, but with color touch. Thoughts on removal versus restoration on Golden Age rarities? That's a great question because I thought about when I was going and thinking about going into the Golden Age, genre and trying to pick up some Golden Age books, I thought about looking at some of the books and see if the restoration could be removed, especially color touch, depending how extensive it is. And I actually looked into it with Hero Restoration. They're actually in New Jersey, so for me, it's quite easy for me to drop off books to them and stuff like that. But I actually think that's a great idea. Obviously the books that have extensive and moderate to extensive, it's going to be almost impossible to kind of restore that to a blue label. But if you see a slight resto, and we're not talking about trim books, obviously, we're not talking about, other forms of restoration. We're just talking about maybe pieces that were added that could be removed. We're talking about color touch that is not major color touch, just like here and there. That stuff, yes, I'm absolutely interested in buying those books if they're Golden Age keys. Absolutely. Because I think that even if you don't have this stuff removed, for a key, we're talking a key here, not just regular, any old book. It's worth it. Even restored, it's worth it. I don't care what you say. It's all about what you're paying. I know Grail's Comics had a Batman 1 for sale, and it was I forgot the grade on it. It might have been a 6.5 or a 6.0, but it had extensive resto. So to me, I didn't want if I was going to buy the book restored, I didn't want an extensive. I wanted a, slight or maybe slight to moderate, and then maybe I consider it. But I think a lot, even if you wanted to have stuff removed, it's not going to come cheap. There's CGC minor color touch and slight glue on spine. To me, absolutely. I think that's, so let me say something about the glue. I actually have a book it's a blue label, and it was a raw book when I bought it. I sent it to the CGC, and it came back a blue label, just says uh, slight, basically slight glue on the spine, but it's not it didn't come back restored. It came back a blue label. So it really depends on the amount that was used and the amount of color touch. So if it's minor color touch, like here a spot here or there, I think that's fine. But you're going to have to live with the fact that they have to probably tear part of the book off to do that, right? They're going to have to rip part of that color touch off. So if you're okay with that, I think it's 100% fine. But I think that's personal preference at this point. But yeah, if it's a golden age key, I'm all over it. I would totally do it, 100%. Just because, again, it's all about what you're going to pay for those books. Thoughts on early action and detective comics that don't have Superman and Batman on the cover? This is a great question because I pondered this myself. If you guys didn't watch I did a video on Superman Golden Age comics, the top 10. And there were a bunch that did, there was a bunch, I shouldn't say a bunch, a few that didn't have Superman on the cover. And it really bothered me. So, like, literally, I'm sorry, Action Comics #2 doesn't have Superman on the cover. And I actually put it down, I think, at the 8 spot just because of that. Uh, for me, I don't want to spend the amount of money if Superman or Batman is not on the cover. I think there's better money to be spent on books that have them on the cover. And that's a personal preference. Obviously, it's a Superman #2, right? We're talking about Superman 2. It's still the second appearance of Superman in his own title, so that's worth something. But again, it's personal preference. For me, I'd rather have Batman or Superman on the cover, and that's what I'm sticking to. So I'll tell you right now, I'm looking for a Superman 6, a Superman 11, and I think a 5. Oh no, a 9, a 9. The 9 is coming out of the yellow cover, and it's like a black background behind him. It's actually a really awesome cover. So all three of those are yellow covers, by the way. So keep that in mind. So again, I'm sticking to classic covers because I can't afford to collect a Superman #1, right? And some of the keys, if you go back and watch that video of the best Golden Age books, or the top 10, in my opinion, there's a first appearance of Kryptonite in one of those books. There's first Lex Luthor, which is a great book, and it's still undervalued because how big is Lex Luthor? He's the second biggest villain after the Joker in DC, in my opinion. And how cheap that book is crazy. I know Arrow's looking for that book. So those are the books I'm sticking to. But I do think that I'd rather own them on the cover. Your thoughts on Eminem Spider-Man? How is that selling so high? My thoughts are, I think that there's a lot of people, and I'm going to be honest. So some people may hate me for this, some people may not, but I'm just speaking what I feel. Is that I don't know why people would spend that kind of money on a variant, on any variant. Forget a Eminem Spider-Man variant. I like Eminem. I think he's one of my favorite artists, but I would never spend that kind of cash on a modern book. It's just not me. There's 2 modern books I would own, and I say it all the time: Ultimate Fallout 4 and Edge of Spider-Verse 2, and that's really it. I believe that those characters have long-term staying power, and those are the only ones I buy. If you're a variant collector and that's what you do, I think that's awesome. But to me, I just couldn't do it. I'd rather take that kind of money and put it towards a bigger Silver Age key. I think that's your better value in the long term. So Action 7 or 10 over Action 2 or 6. Anyway, yeah, I agree with you. That 2 is just awful, man. That cover is awful. I hate to say it, but 7 is a nice one. I don't remember what 10 was, but 7 is beautiful. I'm taking Omega advice. Stay away from variants and Road to the Key book. Yeah. If you haven't checked out, like I said, his video, he did a really great job on telling you what to kind of go after. But I agree. Like I said, if you can get a variant for cheap, like I have no problem spending 20. Someone wants to spend $20 on a variant. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with anything you guys do. I just try to help whenever I can. If someone asks me questions, I don't tell anybody what to do. But for me, I think, like I said before, Silver Age Marvel is where the money's made right now. But I think a lot of it is slowed down. And I think once the movies start to get better, they'll pick up again. But right now, I think DC Golden Age is where it's at. And I love other Golden Age books. I like pre-code horror. I think the covers are awesome, but they just don't go up in value as much as I would like. Omega, I see you're there, so you let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you want to try this again, because I can see you. So no on the Jarek Van Ultimate for 38K. No, I talk about this with one of my buddies on Instagram all the time. He knows I hate that book. I just can't figure out why anyone would spend that kind of money. I know it's ultra rare, super rare, but I don't know. I could put a lot better use of $40,000 than for that book. That's just my opinion. I know I'm in a minority with it when it comes to this book, but I just can't do it. Like $40,000, that will get you what? So just so you don't know, Heritage had an auction a couple of months back. There was a Batman one. Now, the spine of the book was all like messed up. I don't know if it was tape residue and it was a ton of tape residue or whatever crud that was on the spine. It sold for $40,000. You're telling me that you'd rather have a Dejevic variant Ultimate Fallout 4 9.8 for 38,000 or a Batman mother effing 1. I'm taking Batman 1 all freaking day. And this thing was a point 0.5 complete. It was complete. It was just the presentation wasn't as great because of the spine was split and there was all crud on the spine. I'd rather have the Batman 1 all day long. He's with me. It's lunacy. I agree with you. But like I said, it's to each his own. Are you ready or you're still working? Still muted. Still muted, so I'll wait to see if he can get that fixed out. I'm wondering if it's a mute thing, but maybe have it on mute. Or it could be the the mic settings that might be on. It might be set to a different mic that's not there from StreamYard. But regardless, like I said, I'm here for you guys. We're 40 minutes in already. Man, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. So let me ask you guys anything out there. For anybody in the chat, do you guys collect anything else besides comic books? Or is that it? To me, like as much as I love the comic books themselves, I love the characters. So what you guys don't see a lot of the time is some of the other stuff I have. So like this entire wall in front of me is Masters Universe stuff. There is my 4 biggest books right next to me in a glass case. You guys see the comic book CGCs behind me, but what you don't see, and maybe I'll do another room tour since I've changed everything. I actually have original Masters Universe. They're loose and they're complete. I have them, almost all of them. So I have them displayed in here as well. So for me, like the characters themselves are just what I go after. So it may not be just the comics, but it's the things related to them. So like I said, I have a giant Venom Spider-Man maquette. That thing is awesome because you guys know I'm a huge Spidey fan. I love Venom. I love the original Venom. Todd McFarlane's Venom is awesome. I don't like making him the anti-hero. I want him to be the villain. What's up, J. Thomas Cruz? Thank you for joining me, man. Coins, hot toys, vintage toys, first edition fiction. There you go. My dad was a huge coin collector when he was growing up and still is. He's just not as active anymore. Hot toys is another thing that's, again, they're very, very popular, and vintage toys as well. I used to collect Master Universe, the original on-carded figures, right when I got out of college, right when I started getting back into collecting comic books. We're talking 20 plus years ago. And I wish I still had them because they are worth a fortune. Unfortunately, I sold them way too early. But yeah, man, it's a Friday night here in New Jersey. Like I said, I like doing these live streams. I don't do enough. I mentioned we're doing the 4,000 sub giveaways. If you guys are not subscribed to the channel, don't miss out. And I already told you what the 5,000 sub was, man. That thing is crazy. I'm not going to dig it out, but hey, it's a low grade Iron Man 1 to somebody out there in the community. Somebody's going to love that thing. When I saw it, I knew I had to freaking go ahead and buy it. But so goals for 2023. We heard AF-15. Any other big books that anybody's looking out there to go out and get? I know somebody who mentioned earlier today to me that they're still looking to pick up a Hulk 181. To me, I think a lot of people still love that book. There's a lot of copies out there, though. That's the one thing I'll say. You guys hear me say that all the time. They said, I love the book. I love the character Wolverine, but I just think there's so many copies. As soon as he shows up, I think that book's going to take a little bit of a dip if it hasn't already. I know there's still high sales coming in. We had a $5,000 sale not too long ago. I think it was a 6.0 sold for $5,000, which is a good price. Gilbert, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining the chat. He said he's trying to collect all the Copper Age keys in a 9.8. Wow. That's a tough task because think about how expensive a ASM 300 is in a 9.8. I know at one point it reached $9,000, but I think it's already back down to like just under 5,000 by my last memory. That is a tough book to collect in a 9 grade. All the Copper Age books, especially because I know they were printed in high amounts, but they were also really thrown around. For as many copies as there was, they're really thrown around and read a lot. So that's a tough task. Action 242. Is that first Martian Manhunter? Refresh my memory on that one, Ben. But I believe if that is it, that that might be a super rare book as well. I don't really see that book ever listed for sale on eBay. So, or is that First Supergirl? Is that what that is? First Supergirl? No, 251 is Supergirl, right? Let me know. I forget which one is which. Either Jim 83 or Toss 39, 3.5 to 50, or if AF 15 slides a bit more, I'll pull the trigger on a 2025. All great books, man. All great. Jim 83, I can't believe how inexpensive it is, because I think even in like, I want to say like a 2.0, it's only five grand or whatever it is. It's crazy to me how inexpensive that book is. Toss 39 has gotten a little expensive, although it's dipped down a little bit now. AF 15, I have a feeling there's a, what's it on? There's a 9.2 listed on Comic Link, I think it is right now. Don't get me, I don't forget where it is. I know there's a 9.2 listed. If that book hits $1 million, I think AF 15 is going to go back up again. We saw what happened when we got that 9.6 sale, right? You saw what happened when we got that 9.6 sale. AF 15 like doubled overnight. I remember I had a 1.0. No, it's a 1.5, and I paid 10K for it. And it like literally doubled overnight to the point where I had to sell it. And then, because I was looking at a different copy, but so if that thing hits $1 million, I think it's going to go up again. That's just my opinion. Dr. Sean says it's Brainiac. That's what it is. It's the purple cover, right? I remember the book. I just don't remember who the hell the first appearance was. Omega, if you're set, let me know in the chat. Type something in the chat, and I could try to bring you on again. Yeah, Brainiac, that's the book I was thinking of. I just didn't remember who the first appearance is. It's a purple cover. It's actually a really rare book. I don't ever see it posted for sale. So that is a great book to own. Like I said, all the DC keys are really hot right now. Especially like the little bit of obscure characters like the Brainiac that people forget about. Great character, but not a lot of people own that book. And I rarely see it ever at shows when I go. So, all right. So I'm going to try to bring Jason in here again, and we'll see if this works. Are you there? Oh, wait, hold on. This is not. Okay, so you're on mute. It's telling me, Jason, that you're on mute. It says can't unmute guest because you're on mute. It says they chose to mute themselves. There you go. Okay. So can you? I still can't hear you. It says they chose
There we go.
There you go. That did it. There you go. That did it. So I can hear myself though. If you could hear your
What about now?
volume down.
There we go.
There you go.
All right.
So the only thing is I hear myself in the background. So do you have
What about now?
if you turn down the volume?
All right.
So the only thing is I hear myself in the background. So do you have turn down the volume? So now you're muted. But let me ask you a question. Do you hear me through your headphones or through the computer? All right, so he popped out again. He's having some technical difficulties, but no big deal. We'll keep moving on here. Hope we get him on because he does have some great insights, especially about Golden Age books. I know he picked up a recent book. I think it was Superman 31, another classic yellow cover. I might be wrong on the issue, but a beautiful. It says the origin of Superman. It's actually a great cover. So Jason, yeah, we're actually hearing me talk in the background of your audio, so I'm not sure what's going on. That's why we usually wear the headphones so you don't hear the audio coming through the computer as well. So maybe you have a monitor or something that's spitting audio out. If you just probably shut off the volume in the monitor, maybe that might help. But regardless, hopefully we can get that situated. But other than that, like I said, any other questions I'm here to? Anything you're looking forward to in the MCU? Anything you're looking forward to for 2023? I think, like I said, now's like a crazy great time to buy comic books. I'm still seeing things here and there that I think are overpriced, but I think a lot of people are trapped higher, right? Some of the dealers are probably trapped higher where they bought books when things were going up. Collectors too. I know I bought a few things that probably have come down since then. So, and I may be underwater on a few, but that's all right. It happens. But it is what it is. Nez Beltar. I'm putting together action 1 through 23. That is an impressive feat if you can get that done. And all I lack is 5 and 16. So wait, you have an AF and you have an action 1? Wow. That is amazing. Listen, I know one other person who has an action 1, and that's a Nerdy Girl. I don't know anyone else. I know Metropolis has one, but that's actually a a dealer. That is awesome, man. Congratulations. 5 and 16. That is a collection that I would love to have. Awesome. Golden Age goals, one big banner DC issue per title, all with early 1940s. I think that's a great thing to try to do. I think you can get one big banger from each title. You probably can't go wrong, right? Absolutely right, man. That is amazing. Action 1. Could you imagine that? You don't see those floating around too often. If anybody knows how many are on the census, please let me know. Of an action 1. Damn. I'm happy to know someone who has a Superman 1, for God's sake. Amazing. What do you guys think about the drama that goes on sometimes in this community? I hate to bring this up, but it seems like a lot of people talk about it. But for me, I just, I like to be, partial. I mean, I don't care what anyone else does, but a lot of stuff goes on. People get annoyed about stupid things, but I don't know. Maybe we won't get into that. About 59. How about this? This is a great question. Ready? Outside of me. All right. Omega thinks he's good. So but let me ask this before I let him on. Outside of me, who else do you guys watch on YouTube? Because I'm throwing down a gauntlet here on the show channel tonight. I want to see better content for everybody out there on YouTube. I try to be entertaining. My videos are mostly short, try to entertain you guys, give a little bit of information, but there's very few guys that I actually want. A lot of guys I'm friendly with, but very few guys I watch just for that reason. I want to be entertained. So let's try Jason again. Oh, wait. That reason. I want to be entertained. So let's try Jason again. I still hear myself.
All right. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. I still hear myself.
All right.
I hear you, but I still hear myself. Now your mic is muted. I don't know, dude.
Yeah, I still hear you and myself and everything. So I'll cut off if you can't hear me.
Well, hold on.
Sorry about that.
Can you hear me now?
I still hear you and myself and everything. So
it's weird because I hear like an echo after you speak, and then I hear an echo after you speak. Like a second or two later, I hear the whole thing again.
Hear you.
It's weird because I hear like an echo after you speak, and then I'm cutting them off because I keep hearing echoes and stuff in the back. So I'm sorry, but we'll try this again, just me and you sometime. Barry Gary Comic-Con Automatic Comics. So yeah, I watch Gary. He got so many collections, man. I don't know how the freak he does it. And he's not too far from me. He's about an hour. My mom lives near him. Comic Tom, I don't really watch as much anymore, but I got to tell you, he is very, very entertaining. One of the guys, I give him a lot of credit. I know a lot of people don't like him, but I think he's so entertaining. The way he delivers information outside of all the other stuff, I don't get involved in, but as far as entertainment purposes, I think he's very, very entertaining. Same with Gem Mint, very entertaining. Gary's awesome. I think from being a dealer, I bought books from him before. He's fairly priced, gets so many collections in. He gives you information. Again, very entertaining. I personally hate the Karens and Richard that have to feel like someone else's business is their crap. I agree with you, bud. I try to stay away from the drama that's on YouTube or even on Instagram. I just want to come out and kind of report the info, talk about comics. I know how many friends, especially the best thing about this whole thing is about the friends I've made on YouTube or on Instagram. You're one of them. Errol, Jason, Alan from Comic Collector Geek, I'm friendly with. A couple other guys that, we talk all the time. So I agree with you. Ryan Automatic Comics is cool, dude. Bronze and Modern Gods and Alex. Alex the Comic Order was one of the first guys that I started watching when I before I did YouTube. He is fantastic. I would love to have him on the channel or be on his channel. He is a wealth of comic knowledge, man. He is super spectacular. He doesn't do a lot of videos. I wish he did more, but I would love to have him on just to talk to him because he is absolutely fantastic. Automatic Comics is awesome. He gives so much information, including pricing. Some of the times, like, it's just a lot of information for me that I just can't stick with it. But Alex is super entertaining. Bronze and Modern's God is great as well. They do a lot of live stuff. But I want to be entertained if I'm watching videos. He has 2 devices on. He might be right, Jason. What up, dude? Love your show. Thank you so much. Cincinnatus. I love that. That's a great name. That is a great name. Alex is fantastic. He just did a video, either earlier in the week or last week, about a comic shop. That his favorite comic shop, and I think he just put out part 2. Very, very entertaining. And like he always goes to like pawn shops and finds this amazing stuff. Man, I wish I had that around me because I don't really have my, like, even if I have a pawn shop, they don't have comics. I do like comic comment, everyone's cup of tea, but I do like his thoughts. So much drama is avoidable if you just can say, glad you like it. It's not for me. I agree with you, bud. Too many people take shit way too seriously, right? You only live once. Just come out and have fun. We're all collecting the same thing. Nobody should be getting annoyed. People get too, but the whole thing with the whole cutting the line and whatever, like, I get it. Like, they're on YouTube, they're on Instagram, they're dealers too. Don't forget that. They sell comics in bulk. Like, that's their job. So I'm not going to stop anyone from trying to make a buck, for God's sake. Do I always agree that it's right? No, but hey, it is what it is. Like, I'm not going to go say, hey, someone can go out and feed their family or try to make a buck. It also goes on the people buying the stuff too. Some people just want to support them. Some people want to just say that, hey, I bought this from Comic Tom, or I bought this from Gem Mint or Nerdy Girl, and I'm fine with it. Like, you know what? That's cool. Like, because I was probably one of those people early on, like, oh, wow, I used to watch Gem Mint stuff all the time. Like, early on, when he was with, and I don't know if everybody remembers this, Milton the Manimal. They have the Comic-Con podcast now that they do, which is actually a really good podcast. I actually really enjoyed their shows because they were very informative. They were also entertaining, but it is what it is. People, have falling outs. People do whatever. So I'll throw this out there to anybody right now. I would love to have a partner to do some shows with, an entertaining partner, right? Entertaining. That's the name of the game. I want to entertain. So if anybody out there in the community who thinks they can entertain and want to come on a show, let's do a show together. I always thought about, I almost did a show with Alan over Comic Collector Geek, but we couldn't figure out, he wanted to do a show one way, I wanted the other, and it just wasn't like, we weren't compatible yet. So we have to figure that out. But I want to entertain. I want to put together a show that's going to be like, holy shit, this was awesome. I got to watch this every week. That's what I want. And so if there's a partner out there that can come on and spit knowledge and do it every week and entertain, and we can edit it to a point where it's really cohesive and fresh, I am down. I agree with you, Bruce. His statue reviews are absolutely on point. The way he works the camera, the way he explains the detail in the statues, I think that's his first love, though, in my opinion. Like, he went from owning books, comics to omnibus to the statues. The statues, I think, are his main thing. Outside of that, I think he does omnibus still, but he puts a lot of heart into those statues because that's his main thing. So he should be good at it. But it's all, he's almost at 200,000 subscribers. So I mean, he's big time now. So I get it. But I look to be entertained. Like, that's what YouTube is to me. It's being entertained. If I'm watching YouTube and not watching regular television, I want somebody to say, holy shit, this guy was really funny. This guy was really explaining this well. He was engaging. I have a Batman/REA. I don't know what we mean. I have a Batman/REA. What did you mean, bud? It doesn't have to be all about comics. You can bring on movie figure or sports figure. It's funny. Does anybody out there know who I Am Fires is on Instagram? And he's what's his name on YouTube? He does all the Marvel breaking MCU stuff. He just hit 1 million subscribers. I actually asked him if he would be on the channel, but he didn't answer me. I forget his name. He is fantastic. I would love to have him on and just talk about all the MCU stuff, but maybe one day. If this channel grows, I would love to have him on as well. Because I think everybody would enjoy having him on because he has all the scoops, all the stuff that's coming down the pipeline. Biggest suggestion for a Spider-Man key under $87. So hello to your 8-year-old. I have a 10-year-old. So actually he's about to start 11, but he's a huge Spider-Man fan as well. So I know where this is coming from. So $87. I gotta be honest with you. I'm still trying to get a Silver Age key for under 87 bucks. It would have to be low grade, but I think the Silver Age Spideys are where the best investment is. So for me, 87 bucks. I'm trying to think. The bronze, you're not going to get anything for 87, but you could still find, like, there was my LCS has an ASM, and I forget the number. It's the one, it's a white cover with Craven on the front. I want to say it's ASM 40. No, it's not 40. It's the cover with Craven on the front. Maybe it's 60. It's they had it for 40 bucks. It's still a beautiful cover. So I would say, I'm not going to give a specific title because you have to search and find out the cover that he likes, the book that he likes, but any Silver Age Spidey under 100 that I would cut it to under 66. I think 66 is the one with Mysterio on the cover. I think that's the one. Anything under 66 that you can get for under 87 bucks in any grade, as long as it's complete and it presents well, I think is a good buy. That's my suggestion. The second Lizard, that's the black book, right? That's not the yellow one. The yellow one, actually, my LCS has just got a copy of that in. I saw that. The second appearance is actually a great book. It's the black book. He's in the background. I remember it. My actually 11-year-old has that book. That is a great book. So yes, if you can get a second Lizard for under 87, I would definitely pull the trigger. I actually have to like the yellow covered better. I forget the issue number. It might be 42 or 43, whatever it is. That is a beautiful cover. Oh, there you go. Definitely, dude. Hit me up. You can email me at themightyrph@gmail.com, or you can message me on Instagram at Mighty Comics and Collectibles. So definitely, I'm always looking to have new people on the show, especially live stuff. Definitely. Third appearance of a great cover too. Like I said, anything under 66, Silver Age, Amazing Spider-Man, worth it for under $100, in my opinion. As long as it's complete and it presents well, you cannot go wrong. Phil, what is up, my man? Thank you for joining us. 44. That's the black cover. Which is the yellow cover? I forget. Oh, hold on. You know what? I have the book right here. What am I doing? Oh, you know what? I don't have that one up here. It's in the 40s. The 44 is the second Lizard, but which is the I forget which is the yellow cover. Is the yellow cover 44 or is the black cover is 45? There you go. They're all in a row. I forget which one is which. $121 is one of the best books you could ever buy. Amazing Spider-Man, 100%. I'm partial to 39, but you'll never get it for under $87. I think at the cheapest you'll probably get it is 200 bucks. That's my all-time favorite comic book. 121 is fantastic. I think I've told this story a million times. I was at a show like 3 or 4 years ago, and I'm flipping through boxes, and I pull out an ASM 121 for $20. I don't know if the guy didn't know what it was, and it's in really good shape. It's got to be like a 7.0. I almost died. I almost wanted to say, dude, why is this so cheap? But I let it go, and I made sure everything was there, and that was it, and I bought it. So awesome goal. I would say you might as well get the 122 too, right? Might as well pair them up if you're going to get both of those. That's the storyline. So we're already at 8:19, so probably going to hang on for another 10, 15 minutes, and I'm going to let you guys go. But this is a great podcast. Like I said, I'm always here to answer any questions you guys have. to me, like coming on and just talking to people for a little bit is the best part of being on YouTube. Wife got me at 39 years ago for Father's Day. That's probably one of the best gifts you've ever gotten right there. CGC 6.5, favorite Spidey cover of the whole run. So let me show you something. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. This is one of my prized possessions. Okay. I bought this maybe about 6 months ago. It is ASM 39 signed by Ramita and Stanley, 5.0. This is one of my most prized possessions. I absolutely, because you know, guys know, if you watch my channel, you know, I'm in love with John Romita, the best artist, in my opinion, Spider-Man's ever had. And of course, just having this signed by Stan was just a bonus. But you guys want to take a stab at what you think I paid for this book? Just take a stab. Because when I purchased it, I can't believe the guy accepted the offer that I made him. Oh, dude, I wish I knew about it because I would have loved to have some deals. Classic Comics in Rahway. I know Rahway's kind of far from me. That's like more towards Central South Jersey, but the deals were insane. Damn, I wish, man. But I'll definitely Google it and see if he's still around, or maybe he you know moves his book somewhere. Yeah, I think we all need your wife to shelter all our wives. That's the next thing. What are the keys are your top 5 DC you're hunting for? So me, like I said, I'm going Golden Age right now. So I mentioned the Superman book 6, 9, 11. I think that was it for the Superman. Batman number 1, I'm trying to get, but I think it's going to be a really hard task to try to do. Probably unlikely. Detective 38 is an option. It's the first Robin. If we can't do Golden Age, I'll give you one other Golden Age. It's Batman, first Mr. Freeze. The number is escaping me right now. I want to say it's 121 or something like that, but I don't remember. It's the first Mr. Freeze, or he's Mr. Zero, right? Before he turns into Mr. Freeze. That's one I definitely would pick up. If you could find that, I think that's going to be a huge key because there's rumors out there that he may be in the second Batman movie. It's just a rumor, but I still think the book is awesome regardless. So Silver Age, any of the Batman villains, Scarecrow, Two-Face, Penguin, we're missing one. Catwoman, that's one. That was actually cheap. I wish I got it for 500. It was $700. So that was a good guess. 650. We got a 500. $72, man. Phil, man, I wish. Sensation 1 and Detective 40. Sensation 1 is that was the one I was saying. It is a 1. Metropolis Comic Connect has one right now on their auction, and I'm watching that one. So that may be a buy. Detective 40 is another beautiful one as well. I just don't know if I could swing it. 121. So it was 121. Yeah, Mr. Freeze. I think that's an underrated book right now, and I think for low grade, I saw somebody when I was watching Instagram live sale. They had a raw copy for $900. It was in rough shape, but under 1,000 for that book, I still think it was worth it. I pissed I didn't pull the trigger, but I think I wanted something a little bit higher. So I think that's a good buy. If I had to say, I know it's the end of the Golden Age, but if you had to buy one Batman book that was affordable right now, and even though it's a little bit pricey, that's the book I would buy over all others. I think that's a character that they can use really easily in a future Batman movie. And I think most of them are probably going to go with it. We've already seen a Catwoman recently. We've already seen, obviously, the Riddler. Riddler's first appearance is really expensive. The Silver Age Riddler's not bad. I love the cover, that pink cover. That's a good buy. Poison Ivy. So, yes, I actually have a raw copy. This is probably my second, I would say, after that Mr. Zero, Mr. Freeze. But make sure it has the pin up, right? There's a lot of people shy away from that book if you don't have the pin up. So it will be harder to sell. You can find one with the pin up. It is rather expensive. So if you can find one, that's definitely one that I think they will use as well. I think a Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy for that second Batman film could actually work really well. So you may get a pop. That Batman movie was actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Especially after the Bale Batmans, which I thought they couldn't be beat. That was actually pretty good. The story was great. So yeah, definitely those are the top DC keys I would buy. In the Silver Age for Superman, there's not much I want to own. I'm not going to lie to you. And I mean, we're talking DC Silver Age. That first Flash Showcase 4 is the gold standard. That's really expensive. I think the Showcase 22 is probably the next one, the bigger books. And then, like I said, the Batman villains. I'm missing something in the Silver Age DC. I know I am. The Brainiac is a good book if you can find it, but it's so hard to find. That's a good claim. Pink Marvel covers. Can you think of one? I can't. Off the top of my head, I can't think of a pink Marvel cover. Pink Marvel cover. Nope. Man. First Supergirl is a nice cover. I've owned that book before. Again, it shot up when the comic boom happened in 2021. But my thing with Supergirl, there was that show on the WB that I wasn't a fan of. So I'd rather go with Superman, but it's still an awesome book. He's right. Annual too. That's a good one. I would never thought of that. Great job. There's another one. Very good. So I'm not a huge X-Men guy, so I wouldn't have gotten that, but I remember the cover now that Bruce mentioned it. First Psylocke in US. I don't remember the issue. But all good choices. So I think the name of the game, like I said before, is hang in there. The guys searching for big books right now, your time is coming. I'm telling you, by the end of the year, I'm a little worried A15 is going to shoot up. That's my only thing. Like this sale that's on the auction site right now is gonna really show where if it doesn't get to 1 million, I think it may take another hit. If it gets to 1 million, look out. I think we're going to get another bump. That's just what I think. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but oh, there you go. Annual is the first Psylocke. X-Men 138 is the Cyclops one. Look at you, man. You are just a wealth of knowledge. That's probably when I stopped collecting when I was a kid and all those books like in the 90s. Not the 138, but the New Mutants Annual too. All right, guys. If there are no other questions, I'm going to end the live stream tonight. So I'm going to give it a minute. And if there's nothing else, I'm going to say good night to all you guys. Again, thank you for jumping on the channel with me. Sorry we couldn't get anybody on here to talk. Sorry, Jason's mic stuff was going on. But I want to remind you, 4,000 sub giveaway. I hope we get to this thing soon. I want to give this thing out to somebody in the freaking chat, who subs to the channel. I can't wait to get this thing out of here so you guys could have it. And then get to 5, man. So we get that freaking Iron Man 1 away. He's right about this. The Fed keeps, I don't know what they're doing, man. I don't want to get into the whole freaking, thing of what they're doing, but I don't even know how they're raising rates into a recession. It makes zero sense what they're doing. All right, guys. Thank you so much for jumping on with me. It's great chatting with you guys. Again, I really appreciate you taking the time and spending an hour and change with me. I will see you on the next one, Signature Series podcast. And make sure you check out all my videos this week. We got some good stuff coming. So this is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles. And thank you for watching. And I can't wait to talk to you guys some more.